What the are you talking about? I've been ultra running for a while now, and one reason I'm not more involved in the community is because people like to talk about ultra races as if it's like war, and it's not like that at all. Before anybody gets too emotional about this, just listen. I'm not saying ultras are easy. I'm not saying that people don't suffer. I'm not saying that people don't push themselves hard. I've done very long distances. I've been deep into the exhaustion. I've been inside of hallucinations. And I've seen people mentally and physically wreck themselves out there. What I'm saying is people have romanticized suffering to the point where they have lost contact with reality. Someone dies in one of these races and people start saying, I can't imagine a better way to go. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't imagine a better way to die than from heat exhaustion or some other catastrophic emergency? That's not wisdom, that's mythology. And this is where I separate real adversity from curated adversity. An ultra is a controlled environment. You signed up for it, you paid for it, you can quit. There are aid stations, there are medics, there are sweepers, there are pacers, there are emergency extraction plans. Sometimes even helicopters are brought in. Intermittently, you have volunteers handing out food and water. That is not the same thing as actual survival. Actual survival doesn't care about your identity or your philosophy. Actual adversity doesn't stop because you're tired and it isn't thinking about the buckle across the finish line. It doesn't care about your inspirational quotes, and it doesn't care about your post-race posts. Real adversity comes whether you want it or not. Illness, loss, poverty, violence, betrayal, and responsibility. A child depending on you, trying to keep your mind together while the world around you collapses. You don't pay an entry fee for that. You don't sign up for that. And that's why I call ultras fake struggle. It's not that the pain isn't real. The pain is very real. Because the structure of races changes the psychology completely. People make unbelievably stupid decisions because ultimately they believe someone will come and rescue them. I have seen exhausted racers with fresh pacers sitting right next to them, choosing to cook themselves rather than take respite in some shade. No urgency, no real awareness, just slowly cooking themselves. And then people will act shocked or even pretend someone is heroic after collapse. There's this weird thing that happens in ultras where psychological breakdown is treated like enlightenment. No, often the brain is literally malfunctioning. Sometimes you are literally simply making bad decisions. I'm not saying there's no value in challenge. Challenge does reveal things. It reveals your preparation, your ego, your pacing, your honesty, your ability to adapt, your relationship with discomfort, your ability to make decisions while stressed. That part is real. But somewhere along the way, people started worshiping suffering itself, as if collapse automatically equals courage. Now people are so identified with the idea of suffering, they will glorify death rather than looking at what actually happened. A human being died. That should sober people up. Instead, people have started building a mythology around it. Because building this mythology protects their identity. Because if suffering is sacred, people leave you no room to question the culture. Nobody has to ask, why were they overheating? Why were warning signs ignored? Why are these people normalizing dangerous behavior? Why do people confuse recklessness with toughness? And honestly, this goes beyond ultras. A lot of modern people are addicted to the performance of the struggle. They want to look like they're enduring something epic. Meanwhile, true adversity is normally quiet. It's a mother holding her family together. It's a man continuing to function after loss. It's somebody rebuilding their body after injury. It's staying disciplined without applause. It is continuing forward when there is no audience and no finish line. That's different. Very different. And there is another thing people don't really talk about. If you know rescue exists, you behave very differently. And people don't like to talk about that because it punctures the fantasy. But it's true. A person alone in the desert with no resources, no communication, no support, no idea which way to go, and no rescue coming develops a very different relationship with risk. Every decision becomes sharper. Every mistake matters. This is not the same psychological environment as a race where you're being tracked, where people are bringing you resources, where people will come get you. Again, I enjoy ultra running, so I'm not saying ultras are meaningless. But stop pretending they are equal to involuntary existential struggle. They are not the same thing. And stop glorifying preventable death like it's poetic. A dead runner is not a symbol, not a myth, not content. It's a dead human being.